we'll go ahead and get right into things then.
Get back in the fight.
Alright. So first things first, always want to look at your team comp. So obviously Genji going to be our big nano target. Mercy makes it so you don't have to worry about your soldier ever. So main thing is we're just going to be making sure our tanks stay healthy. Those are going to be our two main focuses here. So that'll kind of dictate what your job is depending on you know, what your other healer is. Okay. So yeah, tank's just walking through. Unfortunately, Zarya just got kind of dove there, not much you can do. I'm liking the good mix of scoped and unscoped shots. Seems you kind of have that down. Mercy got killed out of Valk. A little unfortunate. Okay. So right away, my game is really loud. I'm going to turn that down, actually. I don't know why. So first thing right off the bat that I'm seeing is we're jumping way too much. I've mentioned that in tons of VOD reviews before, but jumping makes it 10 times easier to track you when you're hopping around like this. Especially look at their characters, right? They have an Ashe, they have a soldier, and they have a... Oh no, they have a D.Va. I thought they had a Zarya. But specifically Ashe and soldier, especially when Ashe has this mercy pocket, if you're jumping, it makes it really, really easy to headshot you as Ana. Because your head moves in a very predictable pattern, and if they play DPS for any amount of time, they'll know that, like, you know, when someone jumps that at the apex, or, you know, whenever they've, you know, figured it out in their practice, that they can just headshot you for free, right? And then for soldier, you move in a very predictable pattern as well, so it's also super easy to track you instead of just 80 strafing. Yeah, so just, you know, make sure that we kind of tone that down a little bit with the hopping so much. Overall, the mechanics aren't too bad. Okay. Yeah, so far just the jumping mainly. See what we get with the nano going in here. Genji does not have nano yet, so just waiting is fine. Okay, so nano's alright, that's fine. Yeah, if our Genji's taking a while to charge nano, don't be afraid to just, you know, toss it on to someone who's doing a ton of damage. Especially if you think you can win the fight with it. So, nice little anti. Two people with that. Okay. Big thing right here, positioning is really bad, right? Positioning ends up getting you killed here. I saw it a little bit earlier, but I didn't really want to mention it because, you know, it was the first fight, so there's not really much to talk on. But look at where your team's at, right? We'll kind of get an above view, right? Mercy soldier back here, Rein Zarya over here, right? And their team is here. So walking across this area here, like, it puts you between your team and the enemy team, right? It's kind of puts you in this no man's land where both of your teams are shooting at. So instead of just walking out like that, because obviously you're trying to rotate with your Rein, you know, which is fine, because sometimes tanks, they'll leave you behind. It is what it is. But, you know, if he rotates out of your LOS, that's on him. That's not your job to, you know, kill yourself to be able to heal him. So instead, I'd like to, you know, see you just stay back here, play slow, because you're not a Moira, right? You're not Moira. You're not even Baptiste even, right? You don't need to be up close and personal with your team. So just sitting back here, playing slow, playing patiently, allow you to dictate more on the fight, right? Because you can see what's happening. Whereas if you're up here, right, you can't see what's happening, right? Like you don't know where your Genji's at, where the Mercy's at, where the, you know, where the Mercy's at. So it kind of just leaves you in this point where you have to literally like do 180s like all over the place to find where people are at, right? Or instead, if you just play back like 5-10 meters, you can see the entire fight. You can heal your entire team. You know, you can know when you need to hit antis, and you know, you can know when you need to hit sleeps, and you actually end up dying for it because you walk up like this. So we'll head back to you. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing so far, is positioning. It looks like a bit of abilities, but I'll comment on that later. So we get the res off. Go to sleep under the soldier. Not bad. Yeah, like right now, you're not rotating to a safe position, right? You're just kind of standing out in the open, and look who's shooting at you, right? They're Ashe. And if this Ashe was better, you'd be dead right now. But she's not good, so she doesn't hit you, so you don't die for it. And that's kind of, you know, I always mention that, like with lower elos specifically, is you don't get punished for bad mistakes as often, you know, which is like the main difference between higher elo and lower elo. So a lot of players don't learn by themselves, right? Because you don't get killed here, so you don't know that this is bad positioning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this Ashe should kill you every single time, because you're just standing here, right? Just healing your team when you could be standing like here, you could be standing like over here, here. Like there's literally like 10 different places you could be playing at that are safer than the spot you're in, right? But it doesn't look like we're gonna get punished for it. Yeah, you end up getting away because she missed like 4 shots on you. Yeah, just mainly just consciously be thinking, like constantly when you're playing, like, okay, where can I play? Am I safe here? You know, will I be punished for playing here? That kind of stuff. Because, you know, that's obviously something that's not really easy to practice, is positioning. That just kind of comes with playing. But consciously, you know, thinking about it, making sure you understand, okay, am I safe here? Will I get killed by playing here? That kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, so we know the soldier's high ground. So like, why are you peeking him right here, right? Yeah, just here. We'll go back a little bit. And if you have any questions, by the way, feel free to interrupt me. I know I talk a lot, but yeah, feel free to ask me anything. So yeah, right here. So we know the soldier's up there because he helix rocketed us. So instead of, you know, taking cover behind cart or like backing off, you continue to just kind of walk out in the open. Once again, right? And especially when you're pushing cart, you know, cart kind of sucks to push, especially when they're able to take high ground like this. But just hugging it as close as physically possible without peeking him, you know, can just make you a lot safer. Like, once again, obviously here he didn't kill you. Sorry for the background noise, but yeah, like obviously he didn't kill you here, but that's just, you know, another case of that we saw just like first point with the positioning. Okay, so we go for this sleeping up there. Moira is in our backline for some reason. Okay. They are all over the place this game. There more is in your backline, the soldiers in the backline.
Yeah, it was a strange game.
For sure. Nice sleep under the Ashe. And there's soldiers dueling you in spawn. Yeah. I was actually planning on making a video on that, but like, here, I'm actually going to show you what I mean with jumping. Because a lot of players don't realize how easy it is. So we'll look at the soldier's POV. For, like, specifically when jumping. So, he looks at you, right? Look at how predictable your movement is, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize how easy it was to follow.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. Yeah, but it's very predictable and it's in the same pattern, right? There's no variety to it whatsoever, right? You can move left and you can move right, and that's pretty much it. So let's see. So you jump to the left. See, he even does a little like micro flick, right? But you know he's struggling a bit here, but it's very, very predictable pattern that you move in when you jump. So we'll kind of look at it from another person's POV. Let's see if you jump again. No? Okay. Yeah, it's extremely punishable, and especially one of my favorite examples of this is a high-level Widow 1v1, which you'll see happen a lot of times is, you know, these Widows are kind of locked in these duels where neither of them can peek very well. But like when one of them jumps, it's immediately just, you know, a flip in the other Widow's mind, and they go, okay, I can hit the shot now, right? Because just simply jumping makes it 10 times easier for like a Widow specifically to hit a shot.
your back.
Okay. So yeah, when I start walking up here, Ryan's pinning in for some reason. Yeah, I won't keep commenting on it because that's kind of, you know, it's kind of a bland thing. You know, like once you know not to do it, there's no reason to keep pointing it out. Okay. See, our team just kind of dying around us, so we just have to play slow here and reset. Okay.
Why is the payload stopped?
I want to see if we can... Okay, so let's see what we do with Nano. So our Genji once again doesn't have Nano. Or doesn't have Blade. So we go for the Nano on the run. It's fine. Okay. One thing I always tell people with Bob is wait for sleep. Right, obviously he's running at your face, so you know you kind of just want to go for it. But you know you have the Mercy, right? So you know she can res you. But Bob just becomes 10 times easier to sleep once he, you know, once he's done moving. Obviously, you know, he's a standing still target is what it is. But another thing is if people use abilities on him, right? You'll see it sometimes at higher elo. Some players will bubble or DM him. So we'll look at it right here, right? So Nano comes through and we bob, right? Now if this diva was good, she would be DMing this Bob, right? What the heck? Is that weird hitbox? Okay. I guess she's a little too far to do it, but a good diva would be DMing this Bob, because if you try to sleep him early, right, she just eats it, and then guess what? They get the full duration of the Bob. Now obviously you miss the sleep here, you know, so it doesn't matter. But imagine if he was bubbled right now, and you did hit that sleep. Not only would you be knocked up into the air, you wouldn't have sleep and you'd be really sad, right? And you'd give the Zarya charge. So I always like to say just wait on Bob. Just be patient, wait till he's not moving, wait till all the abilities are expended on him. And then, you know, super easy sleep. You just get it for free. Plus, it's more the duration that you cancel, right? Sleep is only a 5-second duration, while Bob is like a 7 or 8-second duration. I'm not sure exactly how long it is. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly how long the Bob duration is, but it's not as long as sleep duration. So the longer you wait, right, the more duration you get out of Bob as well by sleeping him. And then another thing is after Bob is thrown, and if you sleep him early, he'll wake up with like 2 or 3 seconds left, and by that time, a lot of abilities from your team will already have been used, right, to keep yourself alive. Like let's say Mercy leaves you right now and you already used Nade. Right, and then he wakes up with like 2 seconds left, he can just kill you here, right? Because, oh, I slept him, and you just kind of put him out of your mind. But if you wait longer, then at the beginning of the duration of Bob, he doesn't get as much value, right? The longer he's out, the more effectiveness he has. So just in general, waiting is just more efficient. That was a longer rant that I wanted on Bob's. I apologize.
Hard spot.
Yeah. Okay, so Ryan's a little gung ho, so yeah, just making sure you keep him alive. But he ends up killing you because he went for a fire strike. This was fine positioning. I like playing here a lot actually. But your Ryan just pinned, and then instead of holding shield, he went for a fire strike, so it ended up killing you both when he was 1 HP. So that was a little unlucky. We'll keep going. Okay.
I'm not ready to hang it up.
So we're coming back.
I will eat you here.
I think it's 10 seconds. Okay, that makes sense.
Keep up with me.
So yeah, this point's really hard to play as Ryan Zarya. Unfortunately, just because the high ground control is so hard. So one thing I can recommend is like if you're in voice chat and if you're talking, recommend like going through here into this into the castle here and taking away the high ground. You know, obviously people don't listen in comp. That's how it is at every level. That's how it is. But if possible, if you can get your team to come in here and then push up these stairs and then just kind of clear out this high ground, then you can look to drop to point and push it from there. right? Because this soldier has such a power position here, and he has such a free amount of damage just because he's standing up here. Okay. I will keep going. So, yeah, fortunately Zarya dies. After she grabbed, dodge the bomb. Reloading. Okay, so it looks like we're...
You're going to live.
I was waiting to see if it was a consistent problem, but it looks like we're wasting sleep a lot, actually. So now, right here, like what does this sleep do? You know, their Orisa's behind a barrier. She's full health. She's not diving your team because she's an Orisa. She can't dive. Like what does that sleep necessarily do here, right? And then literally 2 seconds later, where is she? Yeah, 2 seconds later, the D.Va dives your Reinhardt and kills him. And because you don't have sleep, you can't stop her, so she can just kind of walk in and kill your Rein. Right? Like, obviously, he died to the soldier, so it wouldn't make much of a difference. But that's just kind of one of the examples of it. So, you know, making sure we're getting usefulness out of our sleep is going to be the big thing. Because sleep is such a powerful ability. It can shut down entire flankers. It can shut down entire ults. It's such an insanely strong ability that if we're just kind of wasting it and throwing it whenever, you know, you're obviously not going to be able to get as much value. Now, you know, I say that when I also throw sleeps out a lot, right? I tend to throw them at tanks, you know, if I have nothing better to do. But in the case where they have dive characters, where they have characters that want to be getting in your face, you know, like D.Va, you know, for example, like a Doomfist or something like that, you need to be saving those sleeps for, you know, when you absolutely need them. Okay. So Reaper's in. Looks like you're trying to duel the soldier a bit there. Okay, good anti. Yeah, that was a fine sleep. Unfortunately, the D.Va ate it. Okay, their Ashe for some reason comes in. Yeah, there you go. Oh, but your Rein wakes up the Bob for some reason. Okay, so they're in Visor, so we need to hide. Okay. Yeah, we got very lucky that I think your Reaper killed the Moira early there, which is why we're able to push the cart right now. Yeah, this soldier controlling high ground here is just so painful for your team. Okay. So we have Nano once again. Okay. Yeah, once again we just kind of toss sleep, right? Most of their team is alive here. And like you go for the easy sleep, which is, you know, it's fine. Like you get value out of hitting an easy sleep. But at the same time, they have characters that want to be flanking, that want to be pushing in aggressively, right? For some reason this Moira is, but like the soldier and the D.Va are much more high value sleep targets than an Orisa is, right? Orisa does no damage, and she's not really a threat to your team, whereas someone like soldier and D.Va who can both burst people, those are going to be so much more important to be sleeping than an Orisa. Especially an Orisa who has no shield, who has no gold, she's just going to be dying, right? Especially if you just anti her. So, you know, kind of think of the trade-off of abilities, right? You can kill the Orisa with anti, and then you can have your sleep for when you need it, like for a soldier, for an Ashe, for a D.Va. So we'll keep going here. Once again. Yeah, because I think their D.Va flies in here. Yeah, their D.Va flies in, right? And the Moira's in your backline, and if you had sleep right here, you can completely shut one of them down. Your Rein is very aggressive. That's to put it lightly. Yeah, once again, going for the sleep on the Orisa, not super valuable, right? That's kind of the big thing with Ana, is how can I possibly get the most value out of this character, right? And, you know, people who are better at finding high value with their abilities, you know, their shots and stuff like that, and their ultimate, you know, those are the people who have much more high win rates and, you know, who are able to climb more consistently on her. Okay. So yeah, they're still in the Orisa D.Va. Looks like we're a little close. So remember, you don't have to push payload if your tanks are. So there's really no reason to be up here. Their Ashe can hit you with dynamite, and that's not something you want to be happening. Think of it like this, right? If you're hit by dynamite with Ashe, you either A, have to nade yourself, or B, your Mercy has to heal you, right? One of those two things has to happen if you get hit by dynamite here. And if that happens, you don't have nade for this fight. You can't shut down their Orisa by nading her. And your Mercy loses out on time where she could be damage boosting her Zarya, damage boosting the Tracer, Genji, whatever. It's a massive trade-off just because you take a ton of damage that you really shouldn't be taking. Now, obviously, they use dynamite. It's not an issue. But that's just kind of showing the extreme example of it. So, look for an anti onto the graph. Okay. Yeah, right there. That's all you need to shut down this Orisa, right? She's out of gold. Yeah, once again, it looks like you were trying to sleep the Orisa when, you know, their D.Va's in your back line able to dive you. That kind of stuff. So I'm not going to keep harping on it, you know, because I think I've mentioned it enough. But yeah. Oh no. Oh no. That's so unlucky. Ryan decided to shield himself instead of the team from bomb. It's a little unlucky. You also might have been able to live that bomb if you're playing a little bit further back. Okay. So we stick the Moira. There we go. Now we're running the Bob. Ryan is obsessed with waking up this Bob. I don't know what his issue is. Okay, so we walk up for a very aggressive anti. Okay. So this goes back to the positioning thing, right? You have no business being inside of their team when you're running your Zarya back here, right? You can hit this anti, you know, you can hit this same anti from literally right here, right? And that doesn't put you over the threshold into the enemy team, right? You're still a little aggressive, but like you can survive if you nade from right here. But instead, you actually walk into the enemy team here, right? Which is, you know, it's a good big anti, right? This can potentially win your team the fight, but just that slight extra like couple steps forward may end up killing him. No, they're actually not going to kill you. Okay. So, yeah, no, honestly, I'm not going to blame you because your team's all over the place. This game, like their team is in where you guys should be, your team is where they should be. So it's a little awkward to play around, especially your Reinhardt because he's so aggressive. Okay, but yeah, walking up like this is fine then, if they're going to be behind you like that. Okay. So yeah, they actually had so many people on the flank that it was better for you to walk in front of them. So, you know, just standing on these stairs and then potentially looking to walk it, you know, switch sides with them. You know, stay here, hit the anti. Okay, they're behind me. Now I can rotate, right? But instead, you just kind of walked into them without really, you know, it didn't really look like you had any reason to other than to hit the anti. But, you know, remember, it's a ranged ability. You can hit it around things.
Yeah, sometimes I struggle with, because like I kind of grown the mindset where I take the anti and I kind of use it as a nade for myself as well. So I run into the team.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like trusting your other healer, right? Like you know, you don't always need nade for yourself, especially with like a Mercy or like a Lucio or something like that. You don't always need anti for yourself unless absolutely necessary. So yeah, definitely breaking that habit, you know, where we're walking into the enemy team, so we can do that damage. You know, it's not super necessary. Okay. So our ball's contest. Yeah. So don't be afraid to walk away, because your ball's contesting. I know you're trying to stand card here, but it's not super necessary, right? You still have a ton of people alive, so just playing back at this corner, make it so you don't get hit by this dynamite here. You know, obviously I mentioned it before about the dynamite. But yeah, it looks like we're struggling a little bit with payloads, knowing where to play. Just find it, you know, it's pretty confusing knowing how to play. So let's see if we win this fight here? Probably not. Looks like this is going to swing towards their favor. If they kill your Mercy here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is... You come back on Lucia, but yeah. Not much you can do. Okay. So not bad first round. Just, you know, if your tanks are on payload, this is a thing that once again I see a lot, is where people just struggle to trust their teammates. You know, which I totally get that, right? There's a lot of bad players in this game, you know, who don't like constantly try to improve, so they just kind of do whatever. But in a lot of cases, actually, you can trust your teammates, right? You have a ball and you have a Zarya on point with a Mercy, you can trust them to contest, right? Okay, I have a Mercy on my team, and she's been healing me consistently, she's not ignoring me, so I know I don't have to use nade on myself, right? I can trust her to heal me. Now, obviously, if they prove that they can't do that, then you maybe want to switch to a more self-sufficient style of play, you know, where you're having to nade yourself. But, you know, in cases where they haven't, you know, kind of left you out to dry, you know, feel free to trust your team. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we're on Kree Ashe this time, but we still have the Mercy. So, once again, DPS shouldn't really be your problem. 100% in your Rein, especially because of how aggressive he is. Okay. It's a fine nade. You know, make it so you can heal up your Rein a little bit. Don't be afraid to scope down here, by the way. Yeah, if you're playing this far back and they're not looking at you, don't be afraid to scope down. Okay, walking out like this is a little bit dangerous. Don't get punished for it, though. Yeah, you don't really ever want to walk across here. Just playing around this corner and exclusively around this corner will make you 10 times safer. Plus, guess what? If you're standing here, none of their team can see you, so now you can scope down and hit every single shot under the Rein, right? Now, obviously, I forgot my train of thought. But here, like, you miss a couple shots unscoped, you know, which is fine, because I really want people to get better at unscoped shots. So, you know, it's a learning process. But at the same time, like, if your Rein's kind of far, if he's doing a weird dance, that kind of stuff, don't be afraid, especially if you're in cover, to just kind of worry about scoping it like this, right? Because, you know, it's so much more important to be hitting these shots than not. I guess that's what I'm going for. Okay. Nice sleep under the Sigma. Yeah, we can look at their team comp now, actually. The only person who's really going to be diving is like either Reaper or D.Va. And obviously they're playing back right now, so you can just kind of use sleep if you see someone out like that. Okay. So you see the Sig on the left there. Yeah, we pretty much won this team fight. We have Nano. It's a fine sleep.
You're going to be okay.
Something I will say with Reins, especially ones like this one that are very on the border between feeding and playing aggressive. So, you know, you'll hear a lot of Reinhardts say, "Oh, I play really aggressive." Well, no, you just feed, right? You hear a lot of Reins say that. But when you have a Reinhardt like that on your team specifically, and you're looking to nano him, to make sure he doesn't, you know, see red in his eyes, he's like, "I have nano, I'm invincible," and charges in. The best thing I can recommend for that is wait till they're already in the fight, right? Because if they're already in and they're already, you know, swinging on people, you're like, that's a perfect time to nano them, because, you know, he's already kind of doing the damage that you want him to be doing with nano. But if you nano him like too early or too late, he may be more inclined to pin into the enemy team and absolutely feed his brains out in a place where you can't, you know, where you can't heal him. So, like I said, just, you know, maybe waiting a little bit. Obviously, I haven't seen Nano yet, but, you know, being patient with Nano, making sure that our run's already in so he doesn't pin. I've seen that happen, like, it happened earlier where he got Nano and he just kind of pinned in. Okay, so we're just kind of chilling here. Yeah, like I said, this is a fine scope down spot. They don't have any snipers, so it's not an issue. Just kind of sitting scoped. No real reason to walk up like that. We step back quickly, so it's fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, so once again, it looks like we have what you mentioned earlier about the anti thing. Looks like your Zarya grabs, and it looks like instead of just tossing a nade from back here, it looks like you're trying to do that thing again where you walk up and anti them, right? Which you don't actually. Oh, you don't have anti, first of all, but you're nanoing the Rein. But you know, remember you can stand back and throw it. It doesn't have to be on top of you.
You're going to be okay.
So yeah, like a lot of times this game, you haven't really been punished for playing over aggressively. I think there's only like 2 or 3 times. But that's definitely going to be something we to look to work on and improve. Okay, it's kind of chilling right now.
I have your back. Get you.
So we Valk. See there's things on the flank. Okay, so now that we see that they're starting to have ults, this is when we need to have sleep for the important times, and you know they're starting to push now. Okay. So yeah, they're D.Va diving, 100%. Nice sleep in on the Mercy. Not much you can do about it though. Yeah, unfortunately they Sigma ulted you and their Reaper just kind of walked in. Don't be afraid to go for sleeps against Sigmas as well. Sleeping a Sigma is actually actually easier than some people think it is. So you know, don't be afraid to go for those kind of sleeps, because if you do hit it, you can potentially clutch your team the entire team fight. I always recommend going for high risk sleeps, because like even if if you miss them, you don't lose anything. Like if you miss a sleep onto a Nanoblade Genji, like it's the same thing as if you hadn't gone for the sleep. But if you do hit it, guess what? You can suddenly win the fight now. Okay. Surprise, no Nano, or no Fade. Your Rein really only cares about himself. He backed off and just killed you because of the shielding there. That's really unlucky. Let's see this. Yeah, instead of walking forward, he just keeps backing up. That's so unlucky. This Rein does not care about his team at all. Anyway, let's skip ahead here. Nice sleeping on the Reaper. Not much you can do about it though.
This is going to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, we had 2 people down here, so that was already a really risky thing to go for. Yeah, we're looking to recontest her. Yeah, once again, we know they have Reaper ult, so you know why are we using sleep randomly, right? No, he's going to be wanting to get into your team and ulti right now, and it looks like he's actually about to, and you don't have sleep up. Let's see if he uses it. Oh. No, is he going to wait? Okay, he didn't ult, he just kind of walked at you guys. So yeah, that's a time where you would have wanted to have sleep, but because, you know, you used it earlier, you know, trying to hit a cross-map sleep, you didn't have it, you weren't able to sleep him, you weren't able to keep him off of you. So that's one of the more harsh examples of it, of wasting those sleeps. So we are 7. No, 8. There we go. Okay. So it looks like we're still winning though. The soldiers, their soldiers, doing soldier things, I guess. And we actually hold on. Your Rein and your Zarya are actually kind of holding things down, which is weird, because they're with how aggressive they're playing. Okay. Lose our Kree. Yeah, once again, going for that early sleep. You're playing a little too far forward. Yeah, like walking like up like this. Look at how far in their D.Va got, right? She didn't go onto you, she went onto the Ashe here, but like the D.Va got in for free, right? And you don't have sleep to stop her. You have it now. Her signature actually gives you high ground. Okay. That was a case where don't be afraid to nade yourself. Your Mercy died, or no, she didn't die, but you know she's focusing on other people. Okay, we're resetting again.
Back from worse.
I'm trying to find. I think it's pretty much looks like it's the same stuff for me. I'm trying to find different things here and there, but it looks like it's generally kind of the same thing. So it's just maybe finding examples of it. Yeah, once again, playing a little too far forward. Could be playing back more. Your Rein is in there. Yeah. So once again, kind of example. This map specifically, this point, I generally like seeing people play either here, here, or on this right side here. Just kind of standing up on cart right here. There's absolutely zero cover. We'll look at it from above, right? There's absolutely zero cover for you to play around. Their soldier walked at you. He walked past the cover that you had with this payload. And guess what? There's absolutely nothing you can do, right? There's, this is your body here. Like there's a ton of space that you have to cover to be able to get away from someone walking at you. So, literally just playing back here. You can even peek here because your Rein is over aggressive. Or playing here, so you have cover. You even have a health back here, right? Just 10 times more effective to play around. Obviously, we lose the fight. The Rein is still alive somehow. Man is a miraculous player. Your Mercy is doing God's work for that man. He's living so much more than he should. Okay, F8. So we're back. This looks winnable, so yeah, but like once again, we trying to just run in, right? Like, if you're gonna run into them, just play Moira, right? On his ranged for a reason. Okay, and looks like they sigiled. They actually sigiled your team off. That's unlucky. Okay, so that's gonna be a fight loss. It's not gonna let me. Okay, there we go. So we're rolling into a third point here at the minute. Yeah, stepping up once again without our team. Super dangerous. We don't get punished, we get lucky once again. Getting your creep kills someone. Keeper's very alive with me. That's the second grab. She's gotten eaten. Very unlucky. Okay. Once again, we're going to look at the positioning, right? Like, look at your team in comparison to their team, right? And where you are. Right? Now, they are not looking at you. But the second that you shoot, right, they know that you're there, and then there are 6 people who can run at you, and no one on your team who can help you, other than Zarya Bubble and, like, Mercy Heal. But Mercy Heal isn't going to out-heal 6 people, right? So you walk in front of 6 of them and they don't shoot at you. Which again, very lucky. Like, you should be dead there. 100% of the time. Okay, reloading. There's soldiers above us. So we know the soldier's above us, so rotate underneath him. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. Looks like this is going to be the last fight here. How much time we got? Like 40 seconds in the replay. Okay. Okay, so we know they're going to have Reaper ult, so we need to make sure we save sleep for that. Okay, so you actually do land the sleep on him, which is good, but he kills you. Looks like it's a little hard to see in the replay, but yeah, the Reaper did ult. Would have been more clear in game. Unfortunately, we did not get Nano off. It looks like they're just kind of walk us in. But once again, we were just a little too close there, right? Like, even though you have sleep, right? Here, we'll a tiny bit further. Even though you have sleep right here, okay, he TP's in. It's just really hard to see in the replay. You shouldn't be here, right? You should be around this pillar. So it's kind of hard with the replay viewer. You should be at this pillar, at this corner, or like back here. right? You should not be in range to be killed by this Reaper ult. Right, Mercy too. Neither of you have business dying to this ult. And even though you hit the sleep, it doesn't matter because the damage is done. Right? It looks like that's actually going to lose your team the game here. Because you both died to that. I don't care how good your reaction times are to Reaper ult, he can still do a ton of damage before you even think about getting sleep off. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of options here. Yeah. Don't be from, yeah. Last ditch effort, just name of the Mercy, who cares? Yeah, it looks like that's going to be it for the game. And they cap. Okay. So overall, lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about and look at, right? Number one, jumping. Right, that's something you can practice. Right, that, you know, just when you're playing, whatever you're doing, just jump less, right? If you absolutely have to, unbind your jump button. I don't recommend that because there are some places where you need to jump sometimes, but if you absolutely have to, unbind your jump button, because, you know, I see a lot of Ana players who have that issue where they just spam jump on cooldown. I used to do that, right? And I'm a GM player, and I used to spam jump all the time. That's gonna be the first thing. Second thing for sure, sleeps. Right, we got to make sure that we're not wasting them, we're not throwing them out randomly, especially when they have stuff that we need to counter. Right, when they have a Reaper ult coming in, we can't be just kind of throwing sleep at a Sigma or an Orisa. The other thing for sure going to be the positioning. Yeah, we're playing way too far forward at all times. Remember, Ana has no fall off range. She has no drop off. Right, as long as you are, you know, in line of sight of your team, you are able to heal them. You're able to anti them, and you're able to sleep any enemies. So, you know, just making sure we're playing back, playing further back. You know, these pillars, always super good. Just making sure, you know, consciously think to yourself, am I safe here? Will I get punished for playing here? That kind of stuff. And then obviously what you mentioned with the antis as well. You know, practice. You know, if you have to practice or anting people from further away, right? That's something a lot people struggle with is you know, consistently hitting far antis. But, you know, go to a practice range. You know, like just go to like a practice range or something, and just, you know, practice these little micro flicks with antis and stuff like that. We'll show real quick. You know, like, okay, they're over there, just low flick, right? And just kind of practice this stuff. You know, you can just be in a queue, in deathmatch, in aim arena, whatever. I don't care. Just, you know, practicing hitting antis at long range. Like, okay, there's someone over there. Okay, well, I didn't want to directly hit that bot, but you know what I mean. I was going for that guy. But, like, you know, just practice, you know, kind of understanding the distance that you have to aim at, you know, where you have to aim to hit people at further distance, right? Someone over there. Okay, it went over his head, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely something you can practice as well. Yeah, and then obviously not jumping as much. And I'll kind of, once again, kind of show, like, even like first person, you can tell how predictable it is, right? Like, you move in the exact same way, right? There's no real variety to it, unless you do like this kind of thing where you like jump in a direction and then immediately hold to the other direction. But that's what, 4 different ways you can do it. You can jump, whereas with spam crouching and spam AD strafing, you have so many more ways you can be hard to hit, right? Especially because Ana, when she AD strafes, her head moves, right? You can't really see it in first person, but her head kind of shifts from left to right if you AD strafe. Whereas with jumping, it kind of stays for almost a full second, where you're just kind of like in the same area. So I think that's pretty much gonna be it from me. Do you have any other questions, or that gonna be? I think that covers everything. Yeah.
Would you say that it's primarily the things that you've told me that's like keeping me from climbing, or is it also my aim in some way?
So your aim was not that bad. I would like, obviously your aim can definitely use some work as well, right? You know, keep practicing that, keep that up. But that is 100%, I can guarantee you, not the primary reason why you're struggling to climb. It is 100% the stuff that I mentioned, right? Because you're missing shots here and there, but that's okay, right? I miss shots. I usually average like a 60 to 70% accuracy, so I'm still missing 4 out of 10 shots, or 3 out of 10 shots, right? Now, obviously, you know, it's different, but you know, it's okay to miss clutch heal shots. You know, that's not always going to lose you games, but positioning badly and dying is going to miss you game, is going to lose you games, right? Or, you know, wasting sleeps when you need to hit a sleep is going to lose you games, right? Like, let's say, you know, like, let's say I miss like 6 shots on my Reinhardt, right? Let's say I miss half of my magazine, but I live, you're able to keep healing him, right? But if you're playing super close to him and you're hitting more shots, but you die because, you know, you're getting shot by a Winston as well as your Reinhardt, and you die, that's, you know, however many more shots that you absolutely have no chance of hitting because you're dead, right? Positioning, this game is all about positioning, especially as support. It is 100% so much more important than aim. That's why I never gripe on people's aim. I've reviewed bronze players, and I have said nothing about their aim, right? It's absolutely pointless to mention that, because, you know, the more people play, the better their aim gets, right? It's like, even if they're missing a ton of shots, like, I don't care, right? Because there's other stuff to worry about. You know, positioning, not, you know, not dying, not wasting abilities, that's stuff that you can worry about, and, you know, that's stuff that doesn't come with time, right? That's stuff that you need to physically think about and work on, whereas aim just kind of comes, you know, the more you play, the better you get, right? You know, like, you may not be able to hit sleeps right now, but, you know, the more you play, the more you practice, the better you'll get at aiming. That comes with time, right? Same with SR, right? That stuff comes with time. It's okay to be low SR now, as long as you're improving the stuff that needs to be improved, so you're able to perform better later on. So yeah, if you ever have a coach who tells you your aim is bad, they're a bad coach. Don't listen to them, right? You know, unless you're literally missing like 11 out of 12 shots, then we might have a bit of an issue. But, you know, that wasn't happening, right? You were hitting a majority of your shots. You were getting the heals that you needed in, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be it then. Any other questions?
One last question.
Yeah, for sure.
One last question. So, most of the time I play in a stack, and the stack I play with is close to like low silver, and like I mean, no offense to if any of them are watching, but like, would that like kind of affect my gameplay? I'm not gameplay. I mean, the SR in a way that could lose more games.
Well, it depends. Like, are you talking like 6 stack? Or are you talking like 3 stack? Or like how many people
Like,
usually?
3 stack most of the time.
Okay. So think of it like this, like, you know, if you're queuing with lower level people, you're gonna get lower level people on your team and on the enemy team. And there's also like a lower chance for you to have Smurfs, right? Which, you know, I know the general consensus for people about Smurfs is they hate them, right? But think about it like this: if you're playing with 3 or 4 people, right, that's you only have 2 chances to have someone really good on your team, versus the enemy team has 6 chances to have a Smurf, right? Now, I'm not saying you need to rely on Smurfs to climb. I'm just saying, like, it can affect gameplay in some areas. But I also generally recommend that you do duo or trio stack. You know, even if they're lower SR than you, because obviously the enemies, if they're not Smurfs, they will be also lower SR. So, you know, games are fair, right? Obviously, you know, don't be afraid to stack with your friends. That's, you know, something that's always good. If you're really dedicated to climbing, I recommend like 1 or 2 people to play with on other roles. Usually main tank is the best to duo with as a support. But, you know, like I said, SR doesn't matter, right? It's just a number. Who cares if you're gold, platinum, or diamond, right? If you're not focusing on what needs to be improved, you know, then the SR isn't going to come as often, right? So it doesn't matter what gimmick you do, how many people you queue with. You know, if you're not focusing on the basics that need to be improved first of your own gameplay, then, you know, you're not going to feel yourself improve. Even if your SR is higher, you're not going to be improving as much, right? How else was I going to say about that? I don't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, generally, like, you know, work on yourself right now. Don't worry about the number. You know, I know a lot of people that struggle. They're like, oh, I feel like I'm not good because I'm not GM. You know, even though they're on like a GM team or something like that, right? Like, don't worry about the number. As long as you are playing your game and as long as you are improving, SR will come in time. Who cares about SR? You know, just focus on improving, and then the SR will come, for sure. So yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be it then. Any other questions at all?
One last one.
Yeah,
About
sure.
Nano.
Yeah.
Because like I end up holding on to my ultimates for a bit too long,
Okay.
and so I don't know when to use them. Is there any sort of way to know, or kind of guess when to use them?
So keep in mind the Nano is a very fast charging ultimate. Right? It's one of the fastest in the game after like Coalescence and like Window. So biggest thing, it's very situational, right? Like if you have a Genji, okay, we probably want to be going for Nano Blade, right? Or if our Rein is charging in or something like that, or if he's going aggressive, just feel free to nano him. Just toss nano onto him. Because even if you lose the fight, you'll have it next fight, right? Like, okay, our Rein's going in, I'm just gonna nano him so he can be aggressive, or our Zarya's full charge, let me give her nano so she can get grab really fast. There's a ton of different situations in order to use it, and I know it's really complicated and hard to know when to do them, but once again, that kind of comes with playtime, right? Okay, the more I play, I've seen this situation before. If I nano a Rein, he can get a ton of value. He can get his ultimate off at like 2 or 3 swings. Like, just kind of learning those situations where nano is useful. It's not, don't be afraid to throw it, I guess is what I'm looking to say here. Holding on to it for too long is so much less useful. I had a player who was doing the same thing with a Sigma ult. I think he might be in chat right now, I'm not sure, but he was holding on to Sigma ult for 4+ minutes, right? And he could have, if he had just used it on like 1 or 2 people, he could have had another one within a minute, right? Because Sigma charges his ult so fast. Same thing with Ana, right? If you nano your Rein when he's going in aggressively, or if you nano your Winston, and you lose the fight, guess what? You'll have it next fight. It doesn't matter, right? So just be a little bit more open to just kind of using it. If you see a DPS like a Doomfist on a flank, or even, you can go for that, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of like the bare bones of it. There are probably some guides out there that kind of explain when to use it better, but kind of like the bare, I guess just bare bones of it is, if you think a fight is winnable, don't be afraid to use it on someone. I always recommend characters that have consistent damage, though. Like, it's better to nano a Zarya or a Reinhardt than to nano a Roadhog, for example. Because Roadhog only has 5 shots. Same thing with Kree. He only has 6 shots. It's not always consistent to nano him. Whereas like Tracer or like Doomfist or even Soldier, those kind of characters are usually better to nano, just because they get more value out of it. Like I said, that's kind of the basics of it. It's super complex, but you learn as you play, right? You're still learning the game. You're still trying to work through it. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to mess up. Everyone does as they climb and get better. It's a lot of it's trial and error. So don't be afraid to limit test things as well. So I think that's pretty much it then. Let's see if you have any other questions.
No.
Good.
Thanks a lot for the coaching.
Yeah, for sure. If you ever have any other questions, I do have a questions section in my server. So don't be afraid to ask stuff in there. Either me or some of the other high level players that I have around can answer your questions. Don't be afraid. Feel free to ask anything. So I think that's gonna be it then. Thank you for coming out, Mr. Gamer. I hope you have a good day, and I think I will see you around.
Yeah, you have a good night as well.
Yeah.